It is indeed a welcome development for Cross River State. Before today, Cross River State is known as a civil service state. In other words, a chunk of the population of Cross Riverians are civil servants, white-collar jobs. You know, if you graduate today or you come out from a school today, your intention is first and foremost to get a job, to sit down to collect salary. By research, almost 90% of Cross Riverians, or the Cross River economy, is on civil service. What drives the economy of Cross River State before today is civil service. You know, but today, I'm indeed very happy, not just to say, but to be a partaker in an administration that comes up with a deliberate intention to indeed change the narrative of Cross River State from not just a civil service state any longer, but to be an industrialized state in Nigeria, a leading state in industrialization, agri-value chain, and tourism. We have come to see the reality that development can take place without funding, without money. And this reality is coming out from the idealistic nature of His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State. He is full of ideas, very enthusiastic to do the things that people will ordinarily be afraid to so do or attempt. So today, we are at home with indeed a governor, a leader, the man who is sitting on the driver's seat to drive the fortunes of Cross River State, to have taken us to another level of development, not just a civil service state any longer, but a state that has an economy, a state that is a leading state among the industrialized states in Nigeria, a state that has taken agriculture as the in-thing if the welfare of the people should be improved, a state that tourism has become a pride of place. And in doing all of this, the driver, the greatest infrastructure that will drive all this is aviation. That is why the governor have become the first governor in the history of Nigeria that have established a Ministry of Aviation in a state government. A Ministry of Aviation had never been established in the government of Cross River State since its inception. Even during the military interregnum, the civilian government of the past, this is the first time we are having an administrator of the state, a governor of a state, thinking of establishing a Ministry of Aviation. Ministry of Aviation, what we always know and what it is at the federal level, which is the Federal Ministry of Aviation. And that was what informed some academic Lilliput, dragging us to court when the governor definitely established a Ministry of Aviation in Cross River State. We were dragged to court, to say that we do not have the powers by the Constitution to so do. But behold, that is why I describe them as academic Lilliputs. They are short-sighted and they cannot see beyond their nose. Because even the Constitution, we as lawyers know as it is. The Constitution only limits us to the extent that legislature or legislating, making laws for the running of a government in respect of aviation matters is an exclusive preserve of the federal government. That is to that extent. That is to say, aviation is in the exclusive legislative list in our Constitution. Being in an exclusive legislative list, it is predicated that it is only the federal legislature that can make laws, make rules, make regulations that govern anything that has to do with aviation. The Constitution did not say a state government does not have powers to invest in aviation sector. It didn't say so. So we have the powers, the governor have the powers to establish the Ministry of Aviation, and that is why he did it. Because he said he wants to change the narrative of Cross River. In the aviation sector, for us in Cross River State, principally, there are two major projects we are developing. One is the establishment of a Cross River State airline. The Cross River State airline it is our intention, very deliberate by the governor, to establish the airline known as Cali Air. The Cali Air is the airline for Cross River. It has been registered as a juristic person, a legal personality, and all the necessary arrangements to kickstart the running of the airline have been put in place. It is true, it's a truism, that we have procured 2 giant aircraft, Boeing 737, to commence the running of our airline, which is Cali Air. The airline will definitely boost the economy of Cross River State. The airline will improve tourism. The airline will increase economic activity in the state. Because by the time we are running, by the time we are operational, it's going to attract so many visitors to Cross River State and outside the state, and even from foreign countries. Like if we start now, we are going to start operating at the Gulf of Guinea. The Gulf of Guinea is the entirety of this our coastline, from Equatorial Guinea to Malabo to Cameroon to Ghana and all of that, to Seychelles, to Trinity and Tobago, all of that, our aircraft will be there. We are going to increase the number of businesses that will now be taking place in Cross River. By the time we'll be going there, our aircraft will be going there, bringing them here to do one business or the other. Indeed, the fortunes of even Magdalene International Airport is going to boom by the fact that that line will be open. Again, this other way, we are going to have our own aircraft running through all the airports in Nigeria. The necessary implication of this is that adding another airline here in Cross River, in Calabar, you all know what we are passing here through today. If not for the incoming of Ibom Air into Magdalene, before today we have only Air Peace. An Air Peace airline constituted itself as a sole monopolist of air transport in Cross River State. They can decide at any point in time to hike up their price and to bring it down as they like. What a passenger is paying from Calabar to Lagos and to Abuja, if comparatively, if you compare that with the same passenger paying from Uyo to Lagos or Abuja, comparatively, what we pay as the cost of a ticket is 3 times higher than what they pay. What is the reason for this? Because they have their own airline, the aircraft are available for them to fly at any time. There is indeed competition there with other airlines, but in Cross River, we have only Air Peace until they coming into being of, Ibom Air. But now we are coming in with our own indigenous airline that will be available at any point in time. Guess what will be the effect on humanity? Definitely, the cost of flight will definitely be reduced to the least, the barest minimum, that you and I can fly at any time we want to fly, to do our businesses in Lagos and come back, do your business in Abuja and come back in a day. That is indeed a multiplier to the economy, whether we like it or not. This is what definitely will help to bring down the cost of flight in Cross River, indirectly affecting humanity. Secondly, the very special features of what we are trying to do in the name of Cali Air. Ours is a state-of-the-art aircraft which we are bringing. Are you with me? For security, for safety, for comfort, for reliability, for even reduction in the price. It's going to be associated with the workings of Cali Air. Cali Air is going to be special because it is our indigenous airline. We are going to enforce all the necessary aviation regulation and laws. We are going to make sure that Cali Air perform very differently from all airlines. That we know. What we have already seen in the organic program developed by the governor. Because it's not going to be business as usual. Cali Air is coming with a special features, definitely for air travelers in Cross River State. And even those coming into Cross River, it's going to be a special thing. This is what we call world best practices. That is what is going to be enforced as far as the operation of Cali Air is concerned. Sharp practices will not be there. They're not going to be delayed. They're not going to be outright cancellation of flight as determined by the management. We're going to have a very sound management team that would definitely drive Cali Air. In general, I want to say that our governor has not made any mistake by doing this for Cross River. Yet Cross Riverians at a time will be operational. That is when they will realize what special the governor is bringing on the table in terms of that sector. Develop the necessary strategy to ensure that the realization of that idea, and for a good leader whom our governor is, even before the conception of this idea of having the Cali Air and also having the international airport, we already are preparing for tomorrow, because one fine day His Excellency will leave the seat of government. So the question you ask, what happened? How would this project be sustained given the magnitude of finances that are committed into it, the capital intensiveness of the project? Everybody, every sensible person should be thinking in that direction. So I share with you, but I want to say that our governor is a governor of ideas. It's a governor of reality. It's a governor of development of effective strategy for sustainability. We have a sustainability plan. Are you with me? The airport is not going to be run by the State Executive Council. It's not going to be run by people like you and myself. We are going to have a perfect professionals who will work under the aegis of Cross River State Airport Authority. Because definitely His Excellency is thinking in the line of putting in place a Cross River State Airport Authority. The Airport Authority will be an independent body outside the realms of day-to-day administration of the state government. The governor will not be a member of the Cross River State Airport Authority. It's an independent body, professionals that will be carefully arranged and put in place to definitely drive both the aircraft, the Cali Air, and also drive the fortunes of the airport. So we have a sustainable plan that will ensure that, because they are companies, they are, like I said, they are juristic persons. They are in perpetuity. Whether a government comes and goes, those companies are there. Cali Air is a limited liability company, right? So by the provision of the law, it is a legal person. It's a corporate body on its own. It has perpetual succession on itself. The mere fact that a member who created it is no longer there does not in any way stop the operation of the airline. It's in perpetual succession. It can sue and be sued in its corporate name. It can purchase asset. You understand? It can also dispose of its asset. You get? So very well, privatization definitely is one of, because if we talk about strictly privatization, it will be for these other companies, these other industrial outlets. Are you see? We have so many companies here, and that's why the government is trying to woo in people to take charge in the running of their own state. Government is not a good manager of businesses. Government is not a good manager. The only way it can be sustained is to privatize this. That is the in thing in most of our industries today, and that is the reason that informed the governor to establish the Cross River State Privatization Council. To drive home our people to be conscious, to take charge of the running of their own asset, because this infrastructure are government and Cross River asset. They should come up to say, I can run this Kalachika company industry, I can run it and pay revenue and pay the money that is due to government and use the other one for myself. We want Cross Riverians to come out, to key into these programs of the governor. Otherwise, before we know it, people from other states of the country will come and take over the running of our own economy, and it will be detrimental to us.